Last week, we talked about Disney's Trackless rides and mentioned 3 of the best Disney Parks rides that use this type of system. Today, we'll be covering more. Be part of the Duck Squad and subscribe to our channel, ring the bell icon, and turn on the notifications. Mystic Manor, Hong Kong Disneyland. When Imagineers were tasked with creating a Haunted Mansion-style attraction for Hong Kong Disneyland, they were met with a chilling challenge: how to keep the story culturally relevant and engaging for local guests. Due to differences in how traditional Chinese culture handles the afterlife, Imagineers went with a more lighthearted fantasy theme. The result is one of the best dark rides Disney has to offer. In Mystic Manor, guests are welcomed into a curated museum space filled with artifacts brought back by members of the Sea, or Society of Explorers and Adventure. One member is Lord Henry Mystic, and as you walk through the queue towards boarding, you can find paintings of Henry meeting and going on adventures with his pet monkey, Albert. In a pre-show area, you're shown a slideshow previewing some of the artifacts you're about to see, and Lord Mystic is particularly excited about a music box that legend says possesses magical properties. After the presentation, guests board 6-seat Mystic Magno electric carriages to take them through the manor. The first room you enter is for acquisitions and cataloging, where artifacts are documented and stored before they're put on display. The music box is prominently displayed, and Lord Mystic pops out of a wall to ask guests if they've seen Albert. He leaves to continue searching, and Albert appears to open the music box. Magic dust fills the room, and several artifacts seem to come to life. You move out of the music room, where instruments begin to play on their own. The song featured is the theme for the attraction, composed by Danny Elfman, and it follows guests through the rest of the ride. In the Mediterranean room, paintings, ceramic pieces, and statues move as the magic reaches them. A painting shows a volcano erupting, burying people in lava who clink glasses together. The illustration on an amphora animatus, showing Hercules fighting off a lion. A mosaic of Medusa morphs into a gorgon, a tribute to the changing painting effect from the Haunted Mansion. In the solarium, Albert tries to put his finger into the mouth of a massive Venus flytrap. Another flytrap roars as the carriages move, lightning crashes, and the lights go off. Moving quickly into the Slavic Nordic exhibition, you pass a painting of a girl picking flowers. She blows a cold wind at you, which travels around the room and shatters a mirror. Albert finds himself in deeper trouble in the Arms and Armor room, where a samurai tries to cut his head off with a katana. Your carriage moves in front of a cannon, which fires and sends you spinning backwards. You find yourself in a hallway occupied by 3 statues that sing along with the music. The statue singing in English is voiced by the composer, Danny Elfman. If you think the danger has passed, you'd be wrong. A ballista takes aim at your vehicle and sends you into the next room. A sarcophagus and tablets of Egyptian gods fill the Egyptian antiques room, and the lights go out again as Albert breaks the glowing sarcophagus. The music builds as you enter the tribal arts room, where lava flows out of the mouth of a tiki statue, and small statues beat drums and chant. Polynesian statues blow darts at Albert, and pin the frightened monkey to the wall. In the Chinese salon, a large jade statue is brought to life and uses its power to create a tornado that spins the room and blows the tapestries on the wall around. Figures in the tapestries fly out of one into another, and Albert appears to try and defeat the statue. It's too tough a task, but right as the room begins to fall apart, he jumps onto the music box as you all move back into the acquisitions and cataloging room. The magic pours back into the music box as Albert closes it, and the lights rise as the dust settles. Lord Mystic pops back through the wall to find Albert, and as if he touched the music box while he was away. Albert denies it, Lord Mystic thanks everyone for touring the manor, and you're moved out of the room to exit your ride vehicles. Mystic Manor is an attraction unique to Hong Kong Disneyland, which makes it quite the destination for Chinese residents and international tourists alike. The environment of the ride is lighthearted and whimsical, with just the right amount of suspense as the magic grows. It's a great addition to the park, and we hope to see more original attractions from Imagineering in the future. Luigis Rollickin' Roadsters, Disney's California Adventure. In late 2007, Disney announced Cars Lands would be replacing Bountiful Valley Farms and the Timon parking lot of California Adventure. The area was originally going to be Carland, an area themed to automobiles in general. After the smash hit Cars released in theaters, plans were quickly reworked to theme the area to the franchise. Despite being announced in 2007, Cars fans would have to wait until June 15, 2012, as California Adventure was undergoing a massive transformation that spanned 5 years. The land opened with 3 new attractions, one of them being Luigi's Flying Tires, a ride based on Disneyland's Flying Saucers attraction. Guests would sit in oversized tires on a large air hockey-type surface and lean side to side to hover around and bump other guests. The attraction faced a lot of technical difficulties, very similar to the original, and it closed 3 years later in 2015. Luigi wasn't gone forever though, and he was actually gearing up to give guests a more fun experience. A little over a year later, Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters opened in Cars Land. This attraction celebrates the arrival of Luigi's cousins in Radiator Springs. They're visiting a dance festival behind the Casa della Tires, and they've invited you to dance to traditional Italian music with them. After making your way through the tire shop to look at historic memorabilia, you make your way out onto the dance floor. Maybe it seems a little weird to climb into a living car, but you're about to. The music begins and the trackless cars perform a dance, interacting in pairs or forming lines to spin it. It's a short but sweet ride with a minimal height requirement, so it's great for kids who aren't tall enough for Radiator Springs racers. There are also multiple songs featured in the attraction, so don't ride it just once. During the holidays, Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters gets an overlay to celebrate. You can ride Luigi's Honkin' Halloween in the fall, and Luigi's Joy to the Whirl in winter. Aquatopia, Tokyo Disney Sea. Located in the Port Discovery area of Tokyo Disneyland, Aquatopia opened on September 4th, 2001. It was the first trackless attraction built and operated outdoors, and serves as a water attraction to keep guests cool, especially in the summer months. Guests board a personal hovercraft at the loading station and are sent out into a shallow lagoon to navigate a random course. The water below is kept moving to give an illusion of depth, but in reality, it's only a few inches deep, and allows the vehicles to move around on wheels. Guests are butted against waterfalls and taken closely to whirlpools to give a sense of danger. To add to the fun, the ride is divided into a wet course and a dry course in the summer, where the wet course adds the risk of water jets that shoot at guests throughout the ride. It goes to show that attractions don't have to be complicated to be fun. And for anyone wondering what happens if you need to be evacuated from the ride, the water drains within a few minutes and cast members walk out to give guests rain boots and lead them off the course. Rise of the Resistance, Disney's Hollywood Studios and Disneyland. When Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was announced at the D23 Expo in 2015, Star Wars fans had a lot to be excited about. In particular, we were filled with curiosity and anticipation regarding its headline attraction, Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance. At D23, it was described as being placed in the middle of a climactic battle between the First Order and the Resistance. Not much more info was given, and we were left to wait for updates and press releases from Disney. Maybe one of the most exciting rumors was that the attraction would use multiple ride systems, including a trackless one. It was also speculated that since the show building would be 2 stories tall, that it would use a lift and maybe even a drop tower to move guests through the ride. These rumors were true, and it came to fruition on December 5th, 2019, when Rise of the Resistance opened at Disney's Hollywood Studios to overwhelming and ecstatic reviews. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to this attraction, but we're just going to focus on the trackless portion, which makes up the majority of your ride. After being sorted into detention centers aboard an Imperial Star Destroyer, you're left alone just long enough for 2 Resistance members to cut through the walls of the room and break you out. In the connecting room, 2 transport vehicles equipped with R5 units wait to take you to an escape pod. After being befriended by Finn, you're set off through the belly of the ship to make your break for it, passing by other transports and making excuses. You round a corner as you're nearly caught by a probe droid. Right as you're about to enter a lift, 2 stormtroopers notice you and open fire. You move into a large hangar filled with AT-ATs, where Finn is disguised as a stormtrooper and returning fire to help you escape. He tells you to take a lift down to a lower floor, but your lift rises a story instead, putting you at the same level as the AT-AT's guns. One of the vehicles is almost hit, but you narrowly make your way out onto the bridge. Above you is Kylo Ren and General Hux, discussing the rebel spies they just captured. That's you. A fleet of Resistance ships arrives in front of the destroyer, and Ren turns to notice your transports below him. You move out of the room hoping you've lost him, but he drops down from the ceiling and ignites his lightsaber. You move backwards into another room, where the doors shut before Ren can rush you. His lightsaber pierces the ceiling above you and begins to cut it away, but you speed away into a room lined with cannons. They're opening fire on the Resistance, and you wiggle your way through them. Things seem quiet for a second in the next area, but you're spun around to reveal Kylo Ren once more, using the Force to manipulate your transports. He demands the location of the Resistance base, but a hole is torn through the wall behind him from the battle outside, and debris falls over him as you speed away. Finally, you enter the escape pods and drop suddenly as it launches out of the Star Destroyer. Home sweet home, or is it base sweet base, as you land back on Batuu. You exit and ride your way past Lieutenant Beck, your pilot from the beginning of the attraction, before onboarding and exiting the ride area. Rise of the Resistance is Disney's largest technical masterpiece yet, and it's a must-do for any theme park fan, Star Wars fan or not. The trackless ride system is used so well in this attraction, sending you spinning, shifting backwards, and careening around corners in a way that keeps you guessing the entire time. The lift is a fun touch, and the drop effect used in the escape pod feels so believable. Imagineers have said in the past that the best kind of ride system is one that's fully integrated into the ride and isn't noticeable, and Rise is a great example of how it's done. These are all fantastic trackless rides, and we can't wait to keep covering more trackless rides around the world. So let us know in the comments which non-Disney trackless rides should be included in our next video. We can't wait to talk about Symbolica. And if you want to visit any of the rides we've talked about, start planning your next magical vacation. Our friends at pixievacations.com will help you plan a perfect vacation to Disneyland, Disney World, or a Disney cruise, specifically tailored to your vacation style and budget. And working with the Pixie is completely free. So talk with them to make the best out of your Disney vacation. See you next week.